Every January, Detroit hosts the world for the North American International Auto Show. And because it's Detroit, home of the D3, it really is a barometer of how well the domestic manufacturers are doing. The last couple of years, they put on a brave face, but things weren't good. You had Chrysler and General Motors going in and out of bankruptcy, but here we are in 2011. People are heading back into dealerships, sales are up, and the domestic manufacturers are feeling much more optimistic.
There's a buzz in the auto show this year, and it's all about one fundamental principle, the world's best cars. So it's tremendously different from just a year ago.
Our plan in 2011 is to have a really balanced approach in the marketplace. We're going to have a great lineup of cars, very fuel-efficient cars, fuel-efficient CUVs, and then trucks as well. We're going to stay balanced across the board.
Well, I think considerable optimism. Now, we can't become complacent. We need to keep our eye on the ball, and notwithstanding we had a good year in 2010, we realize we still have a lot of work to do. We're in a much better position, clearly, in going into 2011 than we did 2010.
So Zach, what's first on the list?
Well, of course, General Motors, one of the biggest, and they came to play with a new compact Buick.
The turnaround all stems from new products, and one vehicle that's sure to get attention from buyers is the all-new Buick Verano compact luxury car.
So it is more important than ever before that each new vehicle delivers on the Buick promise of luxury, refined performance, craftsmanship, and beauty. That's why we're proud to introduce the all-new 2012 Buick Verano.
It's based on the same platform as the Chevy Cruze, but with much more attention to interior quietness, road refinement, and interior appointments.
The best ride and handling, the best quietness in the industry, the best safety performance, the best reliability, certainly the best fuel economy. The Verano is a sign that the new General Motors is all about the world's best vehicles again.
Chevrolet really is the core of GM's business. Did they have anything to show off?
Small. They went small. General Motors had a distinct focus on small, fuel-efficient cars. The new Sonic from Chevy is a replacement to the Aveo. Not made in Korea any longer, the Sonic will be made in Michigan. It's slightly bigger than the outgoing Aveo with a more dynamic look that some might say looks like a Volkswagen GTI. The interior is bold and more refined, especially in light of new subcompact cars like the Ford Fiesta and Mazda 2.
One of the most important vehicles for Canadians has to be the Honda Civic.
And we've been waiting. This vehicle has been delayed, and they showed us the vehicle, but only a final concept. So this is as good as we have so far.
The Honda Civic has been the best-selling car in Canada for over 10 years, so the worldwide debut of the next-generation styling was a big deal. The reaction from many was the lack of progress on the styling front. This new car looks very similar to the outgoing model. It's slightly shorter, but Honda claims to have more interior space. There were no announcements about engine size, horsepower, or interior, so we'll have to wait for more details. We just had the new Mazda 5 on this show, and we mentioned that Ford will be introducing their new C-Max.
This is a people mover to compete with the Mazda 5. They unveiled it in Detroit, but they had some surprises, hybrid and electric. The big announcement from Ford was the new C-Max compact people mover. It's based off the new Ford Focus platform with 3 rows of seats for room for 7 people. Think of a Mazda 5 with edgier styling and a much more refined interior.
We'll have 10 vehicles come off our C-Car platform, so we'll build the C-Max and the Focus on that platform. We'll also have electric vehicles, we'll have hybrid vehicles, as well as gas vehicles off the same platform, and we're one of the first manufacturers in the world to be able to do that.
Ford announced that this vehicle will also be available as a hybrid model and a plug-in hybrid to arrive along with the electric Ford Focus. One very fun feature is the automatic rear liftgate, which is operated by swiping your foot under the rear bumper. You know, about 4 months ago, we were complaining that we had 0 product to cover coming out of Chrysler. But you know what? Since then, they've updated or refreshed up to 75% of their entire lineup.
And the vehicle they chose to highlight at the show was the new Chrysler 300. The 2005 Chrysler 300 was such an iconic design that a lot of thought went into updating a classic. The decision was to refine this big sedan with more glass, an upscale grille and lights, with crisper bodywork and much more attention to interior refinement.
Dramatically improved fuel economy under the hood, 42 more horsepower and 4 more miles to the gallon.
Chrysler claims that the ride will be more refined to match the exterior, and the same 3.6-liter V6 used to update all their latest products will be featured. Next year, this big sedan will get an 8-speed gearbox.
A lot of people aren't aware, but Volkswagen as a group have aspirations to be the #1 car company in the world by 2018. That includes Audi and all their other luxury divisions.
So in order to achieve that goal, Volkswagen is going to have to become a bit more mainstream. And one of their key products to achieve this is the new Passat.
Volkswagen has a hit on their hands with their latest Jetta, making it bigger yet adding much more value. VW has done the same thing with this all-new Passat. It's bigger, has a much more cohesive family look on the outside and inside. VW has also shaved the price, with the base model starting at just over $21,000 US. Let's hope that Canadians don't have to spend too much more.
Over the past few years, Hyundai has come out with some fantastic new vehicles.
And at Detroit, they showed a vehicle that is kind of niche, small. It's a little hatchback. It's got a funky name too. It's called Veloster.
One of the more unique vehicles is the new Hyundai Veloster 4-door hatch. The thing is that the driver's side has one door, but the passenger side has two. The front passenger door is shorter to make room for a second rear door for access to the back seat. The hatch is very funky looking, and Hyundai has equipped the interior with the very latest electronic gadgets and class-leading quality.
One of the more interesting announcements in Detroit was from Toyota, and it surrounded Prius.
Now, Prius is no longer going to be just a car. Prius is going to be its own line.
Prius is arguably the most iconic hybrid vehicle in the world, kind of the king of the hybrids. And to capitalize on the goodwill that the name has, Toyota has decided to introduce an extended version of the Prius called the Prius V.
The number one concern that had been expressed to people by people who were not able to get into a Prius in the past was it just wasn't quite big enough to meet their needs. So the first new vehicle in the lineup is Prius V, V for versatile. It's got 50% more cargo space than the conventional Prius.
Also unveiled in Detroit was the Prius C. This is a concept of what their coupe-like vehicle will look like, a smaller version of the Prius that's sportier and definitely more dynamic. Well, that's a wrap on the North American International Auto Show. We couldn't show you everything because it would be a 2-3 hour show, but there's some of the highlights. And you know what? The crowds have been enormous, some of the biggest we've seen in a long time. That means that people are coming back to Detroit to see what Detroit has to offer. The new vehicles that are coming over the next 12 months look fantastic. So if you're somebody that follows the auto industry, things are looking up, at least from Detroit's point of view.